Have you ever trusted someone so completely that the thought of them betraying you was simply unimaginable? That was Mark's reality. He and Sarah had what everyone called a picture-perfect marriage. Met in college, fell in love over late-night study sessions, and built a life together that seemed unshakable. Mark worked hard as an architect, designing homes for others while building his own dream life with Sarah. He adored her, trusted her implicitly, and never once questioned her loyalty. Sarah was a freelance graphic designer, and her work often required her to meet clients or attend networking events in the evenings. Mark never thought twice about it. He was proud of her ambition and supported her career wholeheartedly. When she started coming home later and later, looking tired but happy, he just assumed her business was booming. He'd have dinner waiting, listen to her stories about demanding clients and exciting new projects, and feel a surge of pride. He was her biggest cheerleader. The first crack in his perfect world appeared subtly. It was a text message he accidentally saw on her phone. It was from a David work and just said, "Tonight was amazing. Can't stop thinking about you." When Mark gently asked about it, Sarah laughed it off. She explained that David was a new, very enthusiastic client who was just overly complimentary about her design work. It sounded plausible, and Mark, wanting to believe her, let it go. Why would he doubt the woman he loved? His trust was a fortress, and he wasn't going to let one ambiguous text message breach its walls. But then more cracks started to appear. There were the hushed phone calls she'd take in the other room, the sudden weekend work retreats she had to attend alone, and the way she'd flinch if he casually picked up her phone. Each time, Sarah had a ready explanation. The retreats were for a huge corporate rebranding project. The calls were from a difficult client who only wanted to speak with her. Her stories were elaborate, detailed, and delivered with such sincerity that Mark felt guilty for even having a sliver of doubt. He told himself he was being paranoid, that his own insecurities were creating problems where none existed. The turning point came on their 5th wedding anniversary. Mark had planned a surprise romantic dinner at the restaurant where he had proposed. He'd bought her a beautiful necklace and couldn't wait to see her face. But that afternoon, Sarah called, her voice full of regret. A last-minute, urgent client deadline had come up. She was so sorry, but she had to pull an all-nighter at the office. She promised to make it up to him. Mark was disappointed, but he understood, or at least he tried to. He ended up having dinner with his best friend Liam instead. As he sadly recounted Sarah's work emergency, Liam looked uncomfortable. He hesitated, then pulled out his phone. "Mark," he said softly, "I don't know how to tell you this, but my sister just posted this on social media an hour ago." He showed Mark a picture. It was from a popular downtown jazz club. There in the background, unmistakably, was Sarah. She was laughing, her head on another man's shoulder, their hands intertwined on the table. It wasn't a work meeting, it was a date. The truth hit Mark like a physical blow, knocking the air from his lungs. It wasn't just a picture. It was the collapse of his entire world. Every lie, every excuse, every late night suddenly snapped into focus, forming a horrifyingly clear picture of betrayal. The fortress of trust he had built for years crumbled into dust in a single moment. He had been living in a beautifully designed house of cards, and the truth was the gust of wind that blew it all away. Going home that night was the hardest thing he'd ever done. The woman he thought he knew was a stranger, and the life he thought they had was a lie. It was a painful, devastating realization, but it was also a liberation. The truth, no matter how ugly, had finally spoken. And now, for the first time in a long time, Mark could start listening to his own voice again and begin the long, difficult journey of rebuilding his life on a foundation of truth, not lies. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content. We'll see you in the next one.